My Lords, like many others, I had a leading position as a councillor during COVID. I recognised my noble friends Baroness O'Neill, Lord Forbes, and many others from those COVID conversations, including the noble lady, the Baroness, the Minister. Now, remote working worked well during COVID, but there were some famous failures. Who could remember the Jackie from Cheshire, who had no authority, but she still managed to press the off button for the chap who was needling her? Some councillors, not in my own authority, I hasten to add, fell asleep in COVID. I saw some clips on YouTube about others who'd gone to the toilet, left the shower, children bumbled in. But for all of that, but for all of those mishaps, by and large, it worked pretty well. So yes, it can work. Now at committee, I found it difficult to support all the various remote working amendments. They were widely drawn, sort of somewhat nebulous. But I'm very taken with my noble friend's Amendment 244 because it constrains it to certain circumstances that encourage participation and engagement, but limit it to those cases for disability, bad weather, and other emergencies, which could happen, foot and mouth, war, I mentioned it in the last thing. And I also am persuaded by this amendment because I think we need to recognise that in local government there are different types of meeting, each with different consequences and purposes. Yes, there's the full council meeting where everyone gets together, and it's important that everyone has their vote. There are executive meetings like cabinet meetings, and there are scrutiny meetings, which aren't executive, but sit on the other side of the scrutiny executive defined. And then there are policy formation committees, which are not for decision making, are part of scrutiny, but don't often vote. So we've got the distinction about what is decision or non-decision making. And then there's quasi-judicial planning and licensing. And I must say that I think in-person attendance is really important for those. The decisions taken in those sort of meetings do carry the weight of law. But this amendment allows for all that texture to be captured and limited so we have the best of both worlds. And as I say, I favour it. Also, we need to recognise that local government is becoming more complicated. There's certainly the need to travel more, particularly in the larger authorities such as North Yorkshire, home to my noble friend. There are more combined authority meetings, and this, upon the passage of this bill, there'll be an even greater need for people on a much wider canvas to come together more frequently over long distances. One has to account for and allow for remote meetings in some of those circumstances. In my own authority, we have trading companies where councils, which may not necessarily be neighbours, club together at arm's length. They are not the council, but they are owned by the council. We've got to take that into consideration too. And on that last point, I think it's important, because we cannot just leave this to the councils alone. In the case of a trading company, in these regulations, what would happen if one council in the partnership permitted remote meetings and the others didn't? How on earth would that work? So having regulations, the sort of regulations contemplated by my noble friend, are really important. So this is a big improvement on the proposals that came forward for committee. In my view, they are now capable of going forwards, and I support them, especially with the affirmative safeguards proposed.